British Columbia here in Canada. So I'm hoping that the reception will be strong enough for you because I'm living on a small island. I get very affected by things like rain. So here we are, we're on our 70th episode of The Invisibles, where we have been able to hold and witness and support hundreds of questions throughout over a year of product clearing every day, every week. So just settling into this space and trusting that we each are coming here however we are, and your questions are coming from wherever you are currently, and knowing that, perhaps they may not be as relevant next week, but just honoring that you're here to bring forth what's present and what's alive in you with your questions. So I also want to encourage that in the process of cultivating your question, to really feel into what part of me desires this to be answered, and then what part of me potentially has a question that I'm not listening to, has an important missing piece that could really benefit from certain guidance, because it's really helpful to understand that as much as we have many areas of our life, it can be easy to kind of sway to, the major arcana, so to speak, in tarot terms of our life. So those relationships, family, money. But I also want to encourage exploring, what's a theme in your life that you haven't given much attention, maybe a limb of yourself that might actually require a little more guidance. So just play with that today and asking questions. So my question is related to exploring something that's coming up for me, which is this kind of like uncomfortable energy in my solar plexus as I bravely dare to start a new program. I'm starting a year-long academy, a business academy, which is really exciting for me. I finally found a program that somehow, from the graces of the goddess, blends intuition and guidance and spirituality with structure and business and coaching platforms. And so in this process, though, I've been noticing a lot of nervousness around money and around finances, and kind of that feeling of, as I expand, as I dare to, believe in myself and go for what I know is needed, the parts of me that might have resistance to that growth edge. So this book that I'm reading, or I'm listening to an audiobook, which is called The Big Leap. And hello, Stephen. Hello, everyone watching. So The Big Leap, it's by Gay Hendricks, and I highly... And it's about the upper limit. And so it's this idea that as humans, this is generalization, but as humans, there's a general experience of having one's upper limit in different areas of your life. So that upper limit's almost like this subconscious pattern that is, how much love you can actually experience, how much joy you can experience, how much money you can actually have in your life. So there's these different limits that subconsciously are created, and in some ways they're comfortable, right? There's like that point where you reach your limit, and in order to move past that block or that limitation, it requires having to also move past potential sabotaging patterns that might want to keep you there. So they talk about upper limit symptoms. So things like, sometimes if you're really on a big growth spurt, you might hurt your knee, or, for people that are public speakers, you're about to do the biggest, speaking of your life or teaching, and then your throat goes down. There's also in relationships, what is your upper limit in your relationship? Like how harmonious can you really, how much harmony can you experience? And noticing what are some patterns in relationships that might come up when things start doing really well that almost sabotage this growth. So it's a really interesting book, and I'm exploring, as I take actions to just almost encourage my upper limits to be challenged, you know? And that's why I say that for anyone. If there's anything in your life right now that feels like it's, you know, it's a tender, it's like a part of you that feels tender, that feels like it, you you want to grow there, but there's something that keeps kind of holding you back. Maybe it's not enough time, it's not the right time to go there, or you need more resources, or whatever the story is. Knowing that these stories too can be these patterns that try to encourage staying where you're comfortable instead of necessarily growing and thriving into what you're needed for this world. So just explore that. So my question today for them, and how this works for anyone popping on that's new here, is you can ask a question for yourself, humanity, or the planet in the thread, and I will get to you as it comes. And so my first question is about if there's any guidance on how to ground the experience of really expanding into areas that are unfamiliar in life, and how the body feels safe in that expansion. Let's see. See, the question should be more geared towards how to convince your body that it is safe to allow experiences, to allow energy to move through its system as a result of exploring, living in that genius zone, as a result of allowing yourself to bravely conquer the fears that resist evolution. You see, fear is part of evolution. So having a fear does not change that you are evolving. It's more the willpower behind the fear, the inertia behind the fear that comes from that place inside of you that dares to honor your worth, to honor that your unique self on this planet has vision, has a process that's needed to continue to complete the old patterns, the old systems, to graduate from different structures of belief that have brought you to where you are now. With evolution, there is a gentle graduating that happens. As new thoughts come in, as new ideas get accepted, it's slowly wedging that door open to let more light in. But just like eyes that have been in the dark for a long time, in order to let more of that light in, to let more of that love into your life, sometimes it requires being gentle in that process of stepping into this frequency so that it doesn't blind you, so it doesn't shock the system. Yes, even love and joy and purpose can shock the system. More because it can speak to parts of the ancestral stories or fears regarding living in one's power and the repercussions of that. So in order to reinstill and gently coax something different in your life, a different response, be patient, but don't be stagnant. Remember that you are continuing to say yes. Open that door wider and wider and wider. So that when you're truly ready, once that door is fully open, then you graduate entirely from the belief structures, from that anxiety, that crippling anxiety that can come with growth. And there will be more circumstances to come. But to step beyond that, know that you've earned that simply itself. It's a good thing. Interesting. All right, everyone. So hello. If you ever want to tell me where you are, I would love to know. I know we've had people in probably 8 different countries on these. So the next question we have is from Alvina, which says, hello everyone, by the way, with that. Yeah, Lisa. Oh, I'm doing good, Lisa. And cozy. All right, so Alvina says, hi Sarah, I would like to ask about my financial situation. What is my path? I had this experience, so I host women's gatherings here on the island, and we do women's, I call them new moon circles, and they're every Saturday closer to the new moon. And this last one oh, hey, Portland. So this last new moon circle, I did this meditation with women where we went into our wombs. And so the womb symbolizing kind of it's like your temple, your sanctuary of creative life force, of how you can expand, and also what you can maybe take it on in your life that needs to be released. It's like a storehouse of the past, and also a storehouse of the potential of the future. It's a beautiful place that can be cleared, and that will happen through monthly cycles. And so I had this experience, and I'm sharing this now because it feels relevant somehow, where I went into, because I'm playing with money right now, and my own money, like excitement and also kind of insecurities. Yeah, NYC, but New York, wonderful. And something that came up was when I went into that space, so you can go and kind of like meditate and ask the guidance within your room space. I asked, if there's anything about money. And for me, the answer I got was so clear. It was, oh, we got someone in Santa Cruz. Yay, yeah, I used to live there. Maybe that's actually where I know you from, the Coast. And my room told me that the block was in friendships that was rippling into money. And so for you, the feeling I have is that it'd be interesting to see what area of your life is affecting the outcome of money coming into your life. And I think maybe we've talked about this before, is that, money, I find, is it's energy exchange. It's this life force that moves through and creates and turns into experiences, and understanding what areas of your life are potentially acting as like roadblocks, or are really opening the way for money to come in different ways. And so I want to explore a little bit of that with you, because it feels like there's an area of your life that's rippling into your finances. I just heard so clear. It's like, are you doing things because of fear, or are you doing things because of trust? And this is a really important question, I say to all of you, to ask yourself in life, is where are decisions being made from? And I've been asking myself that recently, because I notice that when I get like anxious, or when there's some anxiety comes up, I can sway towards trying to create fear with that vibration as my platform, as my foundation. And if that's the vibrational foundation of projects, of commitments I make, then it's not really going to hold strong. And so for you, something that maybe you can explore is like, is there any areas in your life, and it could also be related quite literally to finances, like if there's maybe a job that you've taken on, or a way that you're calling in work that is more coming out of a place of fear, more it's like a place of like anxiety. And so in this process for you, what I feel like I can share right now is to allow my daughter's gonna arrive in a moment, to allow yourself to just breathe and be with that kind of like underlying frequency of that fear, and find a way, like almost this visualization I see for you and for people that are working with fear as like a frequency that we need to be worked with or acknowledged, is what would it be like to almost notice where fear ends in your system and where trust begins. And so something that you can do to brainstorm too is like, what are areas of your life, or what are, you know, people in your life that you trust, that you feel safe with? What are experiences that, oh my gosh, what are experiences that you can trust in? You know, like maybe going on walks with friends. And why I say this is, just trying to get her boots up, is that I want you to explore how to really embody that feeling of trust on a cellular level, and kind of even in the morning, like start your day with like a meditation, waking up and saying, you know, going into a state of trust. Like, I trust that the world is benevolent. I trust that life is secure, supporting me. I trust that I am making decisions from a place of trust. I trust that my money is, that the money coming to me and through me is created and from that frequency of trust, and trust in the future, trust in your capacity that you have a future. And if there's any like anxiety or nervousness that's vibrationally attached to even you projecting in the future, just learning ways of like acknowledging where there's anxiety, acknowledging where there's fear, and not letting that taint your future, right? So like, as humans, it can be easy to turn story and make story real, right? With our minds, with how we see life, and just to notice that in the morning that you can consciously choose to release any tainting of your future with fear, and amplify your future with the feeling and vibration of trust. So that's a little bit that I feel to share with you. All right. Oh, she's very excited. she just got mail. If Carl's watching, Lily's with some mail. All right, so moving on, we have Stephen next. I know. And so Stephen says, oh, Venus says, thank you so much. You're so right. Oh, you're so welcome. So Stephen says, what is my connection to friends? That's interesting. Like, the first thing I heard was like, don't go there. Let's see. It's interesting, like, so for you, Stephen, like, the thing I was kind of seeing was like, I was seeing, and I don't know if it's memories or if you have French in your bloodline, and I'm just seeing like a memory of an ancestor, but there's something of like, I'm seeing like this smoke, like almost like if there was like factory smoke, or like I'm seeing this image of, oh, I have to be first. Oh. And so the thing I was seeing was like that it's, yeah, like kind of this, I don't know if it's an experience or like a memory or something connected with like, like when I see smoke, like it's almost like I see like maybe there's like fires or there's like a factory nearby, but there's something about like lungs. And so maybe if, I don't know if you've ever had lung issues or if lung issues are in your family. I'm not sure why I'm seeing this, but there's some sort of memory in there about some sort of experience, and I'm not really able to access the rest of that story. But that's a piece that I see. I see kind of this person there's a lot of smoke around somewhere in France, and so I don't know what the memories are. I'm kind of just having to rush this. I get to go. I have some food for my daughter. She just came home from school. Right. So that's a little bit for you. And so maybe for you, Stephen, because there is some sort of, what is it, like connection to this smoke or to this lungs, holding some memory from there. Maybe just breathing, doing some like breaths, and also some, if there's past life work, if there's past life or even ancestral connections that are, he says 3 different readers said the word France to me, but I have no idea why. Yeah, like I personally don't really like going into past lives unless there's something that's really affecting you in this life. So the only thing I would say to explore is if you have, so lung is also the storehouse of grief in the body, but if you have any, maybe your body just like if you have any breathing, having a hard time breathing, or if your breath isn't able to go, like just practicing deep breathing and maybe just allowing your body to know that it's safe to breathe deeply in this life, and that there's something about that that could be just something, that little tidbit that you could use right now in your life. But there we go. Right. So moving on. So lovely having all of you here. So the next question we have is from Jade Newman. Hi, sweetie. When will I get pregnant? That's a good question. Personally, I try not to dabble fully with future because the free will is so powerful. But what I can say is we can explore a little bit about if there's any messages from your soul baby, or if there's anything that would be supportive in bringing that story closer. And that's something for anyone that is interested in conceiving or having a child in this life. Is I find it's really supportive to kind of reach out to the spirit of your child. Your lungs feel fine? Is that what you said? You need to start meditating again. Thank you. Great. Perfect. I wonder if it's about like maybe the smoke and just in the city. Go to some nature and get some good fresh air. And so for you, Jade, and I'm kind of saying is that, to become pregnant is quite a mystical experience. It's quite a journey. And for me, I'm really fascinated with the idea of conscious conception and the journey of bringing spirit and bringing prayer and bringing ritual and bringing intention into bringing a child on this planet. I know that me and my husband did that with our daughter, and it was such a powerful act of reclaiming that process too, of being able to be lucid and being able to have our daughter equally, her spirit equally in control and connecting with us and making her needs met. So for you, the more, what I'm more seeing, because I do work with past, is like there's something in 2012. So I don't know if I would ask, I encourage you to like explore. I would encourage you to explore 2012, and maybe if there's any experiences that you had that might be related to any experiences you've had that might be related to either like wanting a child, or maybe a relationship where a child didn't come through, or the Invisibles want to speak to me. What if we said you're not allowed to have what you don't want? You're allowed to have what you need. Right? And sometimes what you need is to be patient, but also to remember that there is a structure involved that's laying the foundation. That your body is also syncing itself up to being a chalice for life, a chapel for life. And so when in this process, it's important for you to let go of any hinges that may feel like there is popping out. They're showing me this image of this door, like this they're very into door symbolisms today. This image of like this hinge and this door that's like going back and forth, and so I'm curious. And if you're in a relationship, are you in a relationship? I'm guessing, but maybe not. It feels like it's almost like there's something in your field around not like a full invitation, take it or leave it, but there's something about this door. So I don't know if you're in a relationship, maybe it's from your partner, or if it's you, like it's, how to describe this? So to explore, how can you really set your frequency up to feel that you're fully yes, even though if you feel a full yes, just maybe go through your being or go through your partner's being if you have a partner. Kind of like have that conversation. It's like, is there any parts that aren't fully open to this experience, or that have like stories around this experience, and just be able to be with that presence those. And that's something that I feel like you could be right now to make yourself more available to this child. I see like at least two, really, is what I see. All right, there you go. So, how are we doing? Daughter just she just left the house. So the next question we have, by the way. Oh, she grabbed a bunch of grass that she was cooking. So the next question we have is, let's see, from Leah Rochelle. Yeah. And she says, general reading if possible. You know, I'm going to make sure that everyone's here that I'm answering for, because there's a lot of questions that I don't think we'll be able to get to all of them. So Leah, are you here, hun? Oh, I think I had a private message I just noticed. I see. I think there's a private message I noticed to the person that's trying to get my attention. So Leah, my dear, are you here yet? Yes, you are. Fantastic. Okay. General reading if possible. All right, here we go. Whatever's in the forefront of yourself regarding cleaning. And we're seeing big cleanup. Okay. How you interpret where this cleanup is needed, it's up to you. I give that to you. But what we see is that there is an area of your life that is requiring a big cleanup. That there is residue, possibly even misinterpretations, and experiences from leftover debris. It's interesting. They're showing me this image. Like there's this really big cleanup project. I mean, it might be all quite physical, because what I found is that So for the invisibles and for different guides, it's almost like the mess that we can have inside of our psyche, or in our emotional mess can look almost like physical to them. So it's the idea, if you think of, if you have all these thoughts that are, running amok in your brain that haven't been like categorized or given the attention, even those thoughts in a way can create this mess inside of us. And so I want you to feel into, maybe it is physical, but maybe it's something inside of you that needs like a really big deep clean. And so ways to do that, if it's physical, if you actually just have like a hell of a mess in your place, or if there's like, if you're holding on to a lot of memories, possibly, ways that other things that can happen, so if you have someone die and like you take on a lot of the physical objects, like what I'm seeing is there's just like, they're kind of showing me like picture frames and like this image of like, I don't know if it's memories or if it's like represents people, like maybe a mess of dynamics that are in your life. That's really up to you, but it feels like that they're not just creating a space, they're kind of showing me that like life is going to give you the space, but if you don't clean it up, like the feeling I have is if you don't continuously like honor the space that's being given, or prioritize a little space that you have, it feels like it's gonna like almost different areas of your life will start slipping possibly to give you that space. So if certain things are kind of are creating that almost a space for it, like see that it's space that is available for you to do this cleanup work within yourself or in your home. It feels like that's like a really big priority right now. Believe it, receive it, leave it, or lend it. But there's some big cleanup that's needing to happen. So let's see if I had a private message I realized might have come a while ago. Let me see if I can read it. So for anyone that's, when I first started these, we're on a 7-week episode, I would do private messages all the time. And then the more people that do it, the harder it is for me to access them, I've noticed. So, okay. So so this is the one that's from Aaron that came right when I started. Sorry about that, you were probably not the first person. And so Aaron says, I can come here, and I'd like to ask the Invisibles what information they can give me that would be helpful for me to know. The first thing I heard was leave hope and embody a sense of knowing. It can be like a key phrase, is almost like this pattern of noticing like where maybe you've had patterns of like hoping, or like that which can come, like the desire, setting forth our prayers, giving space, like hoping that, and there's definitely a place for that in life. But it feels like for you right now, it's important to just honor what is it that you know that needs to be expressed, that needs to be articulated, and how to really respect the ripple of that knowing. Because what I find is that to really know something isn't satisfying enough, right? You may know what you believe, but if there's something in your life that is conflicting with what you know is true, or what you know you need to happen, then it's in that confliction, it's in that dissonance that's created from those two conflicting experiences, that's where issues can stem from, right? So it's not enough. It's one thing to be able to articulate, okay, I know that I need to do this. It's another thing to have that conscious decision while your actions are not aligning fully with that knowing. Because to know something and to take action on that, well, that's a little bit more tricky, right? And so for you, I encourage you to really become comfortable with that feeling of knowing, and seeing that as the arrow, right? That sense of knowing is where I encourage you to launch in the direction and to take action in your life, wherever you feel that. And to almost like, it's almost like courting that part of yourself that knows. And when I feel it kind of like here in your body, like almost like an energy that's from your, it's like maybe solar plexus, a little bit over the throat into your words. And so getting really good at not just articulating what you know, but noticing when that, that insight or that guidance is there, because it's your responsibility to get clear if you're going to take action on it. And then if you're not going to take action on it, then at least know that that is something that you're consciously choosing, and not something that's like, oh, I'm going to like somewhere in the future, because even that somewhere in the future can be confusing for the nervous system, because you're still holding this responsibility, this divine responsibility to initiating something. That makes sense. So that's a little bit for you. Whatever you know needs a little action. Okay. So let me just check on my dad. How you doing, Alila? Do you need to get off? You good? You're really hungry. Okay. I'm gonna get off then. I'll get you some food. Unless you want to put the shepherd's pie in the toaster. What? Okay. So today, I acknowledge I popped on. We started a little late today because oh, do you want to show them? Aurora just made a paintbrush.
Yeah, it's only for the table. For the inside kitchen table.
What do you do? I can just kind
of. And then you take this part and go like that and get off like this.
cute. A little project you could do if you have kids in that. So I just want to thank everyone for popping on. I know that there's a lot of questions that we can't get to today. I had issues with my technology. So if there's something that's really pressing that you really want to spend some time with me personally tomorrow, actually, so Thursdays is my buy donation day. I think I'm booked. I think I'm booked solid with clients all day, but next Thursday there is space if you feel like that, or if you want to have a private session and, really spend some time where we can really focus together on something that's important to you, that's needing some shifts of some perspective. So have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys, or at least pop on next Wednesday. All right. Ciao.